buddies, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a marble cake. The marble cake is the kind of cake you make when you're not quite sure if today you're in the mood for vanilla or chocolate. So why not make a cake that combines the two of them? So it's really simple to make, and as easy as this recipe is, it brings me back to my childhood because my Aunt Mima is a great baker, and this was one of the cakes she made that was my absolute favorite because I could have vanilla and chocolate at the same time. So I love making it, and I love eating it even more. I don't make it often because if I do, it's one of those things where I really don't have a lot of self-control. It's very simple and basic, but it's just delicious and moist and fluffy and all things goodness. Now let me tell you over the ingredients so we can get started. I need all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt, granulated sugar, cocoa powder, eggs, some vegetable oil, whole milk, unsalted butter, softened at room temperature, some pan de angeli, and vanillina. If you don't have either one of those two, you can just substitute a good tablespoon of, like 3 teaspoons of regular vanilla extract, and then just 2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's it. This is just Italian vanilla and baking powder. Love it. And since this is my aunt's recipe, I figured I'd use it. So, all right, the first thing you want to do is get your oven preheated to 325. The second thing you want to do is take a bun pan. This is about a 10-inch bun pan. You can butter and flour it, or you can use a really good nonstick spray. I like to use a kind that's they call it butter and flour all in one. It's just great. Nothing sticks, and I absolutely love it. All right, so now that you have that ready, the oven's preheated, you're pretty much ready to rock and roll. In this mixing bowl here, I'm going to add my sugar, vegetable oil. A little bit of oil adds moisture and it keeps it really light, but the butter gives it a lot of flavor. So that's why I use a little bit of oil, mostly butter. All right, I'm going to put these two in here and I'm going to cream this together really, really well. And while that happens, I just want to take my flour, salt, pan de angeli. I'm going to use a whole bag of this. 2 teaspoons of baking powder if you don't have this. And vanillina. I actually like to just open the little baggie here. Put that right in. Awesome. Give this a stir and get that ready. All right, let that mix up and get nice and fluffy, and then we'll move on to the next step. That looks awesome. Take a spatula. Always run it on the sides to make sure everything is well mixed. Add in my eggs. And I'm going to mix that really well together as well. Until it's a really nice pale yellow, thick, almost like a cream deliciousness. And then we'll add in our dry ingredients and the milk, and we'll be that much closer to popping this in the oven so you can eat it. Add your milk. Don't worry if it splits a little. Don't fret. It's going to be all right. Don't you worry about that, because once this goes in, you'll see how gorgeous the batter will look. You can do it in, you can add a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, but honestly, my Nonna does it, so most of the time I don't. It all ends up in the same place anyway. So just mix this until everything is really well combined, but just don't over mix it, because otherwise your cake is going to be really dense, and that defeats the purpose because you want a really moist and delicious cake. So I'm going to let this go, and then I'll show you the last and final step right before it goes into the oven. That looks like perfection. Look at that. Let's get this out of here, so I can get every last bit off of here, because what is the point of leaving it behind when you can put it in the pan and it can go in your belly? Okay, so today, Laura. All right, give this a good mix from the sides and bottom. That's amazing. Okay, so now you're going to take 2/3 of this batter, and you're going to put it into your prepared pan. Swirl this around. Okay. That looks perfect. Smooth it out as best as you can. Don't go crazy. Now, set that aside for a quick second. Take your cocoa powder and put it into the reserved here batter. Woo. And then mix it all in with the spatula really well. All right, so now you have your chocolate batter. Take a spoon and drop it on top of your vanilla batter, just like so. Okay. Now you take a butter knife, okay, and you're just gonna swirl this in a bit. You don't want to mix everything together. You just want to swirl it around very briefly. All right, that's good enough. This is going to go into your preheated oven at 325 for about an hour and 15 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean without any wet batter on it. And then you let it cool a bit. I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. My cake baked for around an hour at 325, and then I let it cool pretty much completely, and now it's time to invert it and get to eating. Now I take a butter knife, and I always just make sure, run it down the sides just a bit. I already did that, and a little bit over here, but I sprayed this pretty well, so I'm pretty positive it's gonna come out. I hope so anyway. All right, let's tap it a little bit. Drum roll. Oh, look at that. Don't you just love it when things work out? All right, let's cut into this. I can smell it, that's for sure. Look. Chocolate, some vanilla. I'm going to take a bite right in the middle so I can get both. How about that? That is one moist and fluffy cake. Just the way I like it. Go to laureninthekitchen.com to get this recipe. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.